This radio show might make you cry, will probably make you angry, will most assuredly make you laugh, and is guaranteed to make you think. 3-6 Nation Radio, where no topic is too hot, no take is too cold, with Monica Livingston and Sean Parker. 3-6 Nation Radio, in 3, 2, 1.
Nation Radio, Ivan Boner here, standing in for Monica Livingston, who apparently is trapped in the Big Apple. She couldn't make it back here today, and so, like a pilot on an airplane, was woken up next to me and told I need to fly. I am here, very excited. We have a lot of stuff we want to talk about today. Crazy amounts of news. I'm very excited. Happy, can I just start off with the week though? Happy impeachment indictment Monday, everybody. It's not an official holiday. I don't know if anybody else got dressed up for the celebrations this week. I certainly did. But, you know, what I did, we started, my partner and I, we had a nice, lovely sit-down meal. We had these kebabs with steak and shrimp, and I roasted some potatoes, and we had a wine and candlelight dinner. It's important to celebrate the good moments as they come along. And so, happy Indictment Monday. I just want to celebrate it. I'm really looking forward to the next one. It's going to be fantastic. In case you don't know, and I know a lot of people don't realize what was going on, because courts and the Senate and the politics and the government, I'm going to break it down very, very small and quick. One, you had this guy, Mueller, who's been investigating to see if any crime at all was committed with regards to the president and his entourage. And so he's been investigating, and he hired a team of tax fraud super sleuths out of New York, different federal agencies. They came together, and they have been digging. No one knows what they were looking at. Nobody knows who really was interviewed, what they talked about. It was all secret, and they came out on Friday with a surprise, we're going to arrest some people, but they didn't tell us who it was. So Indictment Monday, they came out, they let the cat out of the bag, and they arrested two people. Trump's campaign manager, Paul Manafort, and his second in command, some other guy. And they also revealed that a Mr. Papadopoulos had pleaded guilty to some things. Now, in case you've not watched The Sopranos recently, when you plead guilty to a federal crime, everybody says, listen, I'll agree to that if you don't charge me with anything else, we negotiate it down, everybody's happy. But part of that negotiation means there is more that is coming. That's how you do it, right? I throw you a bone and then you give me a bigger fish. I don't send you to jail forever for doing a lot of bad things, and you should absolutely read the transcripts and the indictment sheet. Crazy things that these people are accused of doing, and he pleaded guilty for. So, happy Indictment Monday, everybody. Lots of celebration. I'm glad our Justice Department is working. Woo! Oh, how you doing over there? He's blushing. He doesn't like being on the radio. It's fine.
It's true, but that is all. It's all making me very pleased as well.
Good.
It's fun. It's like a deck of cards, or it's a stack of dominoes.
And you just poke the first one.
No, it's happening. It's in slow motion. It's a time warp right now. It's feeling really slow.
It is going to speed up, I guarantee.
And within history, this is happening pretty quickly.
We were looking at each other this weekend, and we said, to live in interesting times is all I wanted, right?
That's right.
I don't want that anymore. Nope. I am so sorry. I prayed for this. It's my fault. You can blame me. I will do my best to fix it. All right, on a lighter note, there's a lot of legal stuff that's happening. People don't really follow the law. A judge in Hawaii orders a man to write his ex-girlfriend 144 compliments. And if you guys are wondering whether the judicial branch is doing its job, whether the court is looking at the punishments and making them fit the crime, you had a young man, a Mr. I don't have a name, Mr. Young of Kualuhi. I don't know how to say Hawaiian words either. I'm just the worst. In Hawaii, he was ordered to stop contacting his ex-girlfriend. 2 months later, he called her and texted her 144 times over the span of 3 hours. And according to Maui News, he was arrested and spent 157 days in jail. If you have a restraining order, don't violate the restraining order. First thing. At his sentencing, he received time served, which was the 157. He was also placed on 2 years probation, $2,400 in fines, 200 hours of community service, and then, and I quote, "It is so childish to think a grown man can be so thumb happy." Judge Liu told Young in court, "I hope you don't have a phone anymore, and if you do, I hope you don't have her number anymore." And then he ordered him to send her 144 compliments to make up for the nasty and evil text that he sent out. So, small victories. I'm very excited. You know, lots of little things we want to celebrate. I know the news has always been very harsh and aggressive. There's a lot of good, a lot of lovely things that are going on. And so we want to talk about that. So we're going to go to commercial. We will come back in just a moment and dive into some meaty topics. We want to talk about race. We want to talk about sports. We want to talk about Facebook and the epic meltdown of Twitter. We're going to have so much fun. 3-6 Nation Radio. We will be back in a moment.
Come on, hustle, 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 hustle. Get your head in the game. Come on.
Are you setting the right example for your kids?
Are you even trying? The ball's down there. What are you doing? You need to get some confidence.
Come on, hustle up, get up there.
Reviewing last year, ad revenue has declined 15%.
Come on, get your head on straight.
Before your child's next game, ask yourself, how would you like it if they copied your behavior?
There are many ways which we can improve.
That's for sure. You need to get some confidence.
Positive Coaching Alliance has valuable tips and tools to help our kids perform their best while keeping sports enjoyable for everyone. Their development zone is a great resource for parents like us. Positive Coaching Alliance, creating better athletes, better people. Learn more at positivecoach.org/Fox Sports.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point I did change to a different company with car insurance and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
If you can play, you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
We are all
champions.
We are all
Red Hawks.
Red Hawk
For life.
Our staff, coaches, and student athletes welcome students of all races, religions, genders, sexual orientation, and national origin. We advocate and support the LGBTQ community.
We play.
Together.
We win together.
If you can play,
you can play.
At Montclair State University, if you can play, you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
So we're back. We have a lot to talk about, lots to go over. Can I ask, does anybody out there watch sports? Is that a thing that is happening? Apparently, there was a baseball game on last night, and apparently the Houston Astros won the World Series and beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1 in what baseball critics call amazing. I didn't watch it. And I find that I'm on the outside of this situation where you have more and more Americans watch this particular baseball game than they have watched baseball games in times past. But we also have a decline in viewership in the NFL at the same time. And so I'm wondering if there's some kind of connection between these two phenomenon where people want their sports, they just don't want the politics with it. If that's true, they probably just want their entertainment and not their politics with it, in which case I am going to blow their minds. Sorry. But the World Series is very important because I think more than a lot of other sports, this one has a history that goes through what it means to be an American, right? We talk about World War II. The reason why Japanese play baseball is because our foreign service members went there, they played baseball, and leagues started up, and it continued on even after we left. When we talk about baseball diplomacy, that was the thing that happened. We sent a lot of Americans to the South America and a lot of the Middle American countries. It became popular. It was easy, it's fun, it's great to play, and so there is a history of it being beyond sports. We talk about Jackie Robinson and breaking the color barrier, and we talk about Babe Ruth and the class divides of the 1920s. We have all of these issues that are wrapped up in sports. And so as much as I am not a sports watcher, I understand that there is a connection between what's happening in our popular culture and in our sports in particular, and how that reflects with the bigger social and political and war issues that are going on in our nation. As goes the teams, so goes the country. That being said, what does the Houston Astros have to say about our world? I don't know. I'd love for you to find out. You can Facebook us, Twitter us, let us know what's going on. Tell me your thoughts. Teach me your ways. I can go on and on. I want to hear from you. We will go back to that. Couple things that are going on. Number one, if you're Australian, I want to apologize. Apparently, if you're Australian and you have ancestry that is not Australian, you are not allowed to serve in Parliament. This was recent revelations. Australia's High Court on Friday ruled that their Deputy Prime Minister was ineligible for Parliament. For those of you who don't know what Parliament is, it is a coalition government. They all work together. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's not like the House and the Senate where we just have parties. It's these people, they actually have to work together or else the government will fall apart. Crazy idea, right? Well, there was a majority, and now several members of Parliament, including the Deputy Prime Minister, isn't eligible to be a part of it because his ancestors, I think his father, came from New Zealand? And they said, well, he has dual citizenship, so he doesn't count. Those are the kind of mystagogues. So we could have it a lot worse. We could just have people being disqualified because they discovered their ancestors were some kind of mix of something or other, and then we would be in the situation that Australia is in, which, as hard as it is to believe, is probably as crazy as the things that are happening now. Also, this week in the news, Facebook, Twitter, and Google. I'm a Facebook user. I think most people today use some kind of social media. I don't know anyone who does not. And we have come to a place where we have to ask ourselves, what is it doing? Right? Facebook says we're a platform. We provide an arena for people to post things. What they post is none of our business. Twitter says the same thing. They have rules. You're not allowed to put nipples. You're not allowed to do calling for the death of somebody. Although people use squishy language to get around these kinds of things. If you're in Germany and you're on Facebook and you deny the Holocaust happened, Facebook will pull that because that's a violation of Germany's First Amendment, or not First Amendment laws. There's free speech laws, right? That's the one thing you're not allowed to do, say this Holocaust didn't happen. So there is a certain amount of responsibility that Twitter and Facebook and yada, yada, yada have for maintaining a free and flow of information. But something went very wrong. Something went nuts. We know it went nuts because Facebook, for the first time, came out with their quarterly earnings. They made making my face do the thing. They made $10 billion. Last quarter, they made $10 billion. What do they sell? What does Facebook sell that they made $10 billion? Advertising. Which means that they just want you to look at their thing so that you can continue to generate revenue. And apparently, it was a very lucrative 12 months. Well, turns out some of the people who were buying these advertisements were directly violating the law. We have laws that say foreign agents can't go in and buy political ads because that's crazy. And Facebook was just like, what? But the money, though. And my man, Al Franken, who I love, Al Franken, he came in and he said, hi, you guys are data companies. Can we put together multiple data points? Like if you have rubles that are buying American political ads, what data point would connect those two things? And they are very, very illegal. Twitter managed to scathe that. They don't accept rubles for their political ads. Thank you very much. Google was duly chastised. But think about this. This is the scope of the problem that we're looking at. Twitter had 36,754 bots that they found and deleted. But they also reveal that one group called the Internet Research Group, one group had 2,052 accounts on Twitter, 470 accounts on Facebook, 18 on YouTube, and their content reached 126 million people. Million. With an M. That's basically half of the people in America. Right? That's almost everyone who voted. That's a lot. That's a huge. How many people voted? 150 million? In America. Five? Well, those are the ones who voted for my candidate. I was the guy with the hat. He had a cape. Vermin Supreme. Have you? You interviewed Vermin Supreme. God, I love this country. I love it so much. He's a man who knows what he wants. I don't know what that is personally, but he does.
He calls for good dental care and ponies for everybody.
Ponies?
Yeah, he wants a pony for every American. That's
okay.
Like his main platform thing.
What if I don't want a pony? Is that just like
too bad?
Wow.
Under Vermin Supreme, you get a pony.
That's the Supreme.
I think so. Yeah,
when you are Supreme,
right.
It happens the way you say.
He calls himself a friendly fascist.
You know what? And that's a slippery slope because once you get to a friendly fascist, then you get to a friendly communist, then you get to a friendly Marxist,
and the
next thing you know, you're at a friendly anarchist, and everybody's just nice, and it's just the destruction of everything.
Yep.
Pleasantly.
That's his
agenda.
Yep. He also glitter bombs people.
Do you guys know what does everybody know what glitter bombs is? Is that a normal thing?
I don't think people know. You should explain.
I first discovered glitter bombs. I'm going to say this anyway. Somebody sent me, it was not a glitter bomb, it was a bag of dicks.
Oh, good.
And they sent me, in the mail, it was a package, and you open it up, and they were like a bag of mini gummy.
Oh, good. I thought you meant real.
It was not a Hannibal Lecter situation. It was a bag of little gummy things, and it was like, here's an entire bag of dicks. Go eat it. And
did you?
And I did not. I gave them. I mean, I did.
Distributed them.
I was a socialist in my. I'm stopping. So I'm looking at these things like, how can I get them back? And apparently, there are these things, glitter bombs, where are packages in the mail, and you open them up, and they are filled with loose glitter.
Yep, packed. So it it
pops.
explodes.
So it pops, and you can't do anything with it.
Right.
And it's everywhere.
Glitter is the worst thing ever, too.
It's like the STD of the arts and crafts world. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I once came home at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and my girlfriend at the time, she looked at me and says, "Why is there glitter on your face?" And I was like, honestly, it's been a long night. I can't even tell you.
5 years ago, I put on glitter, and
I got into a fist fight with a mime back in college. It's still on me. Don't look at me. Like I was no guilt. There's glitter on my face. Don't look at me about glitter. It's glitter. But it does get everywhere, and it is impossible to get rid of.
Fabulizing.
I don't use glitter anymore, but I still fabulize things.
Mm-hmm.
I like. You want to guess? What do I use to fabulize my apartment, my things? They're small decorative items.
Oh, well, I was going to guess, like, judging from what I know about you so far, I was going to say words.
They are covered in words. Yeah, absolutely, actually. For Halloween, I made a pumpkin, as people do. I carved the Declaration of Independence all the way around it. Wow. Only the preamble. The preamble to the Constitution, excuse me.
That was lazy.
It's long, and I use the saw to saw out the insides.
Yeah.
And then when you light it, when you put the candle inside, the whole thing glows in the middle of the night, like We the People. I was so like, wah! It was pretty amazing.
You did it all backwards, so it would glow onto the walls.
I am not that far yet. This is my first pumpkin ever. One day I will up my game, and there will be like a Thomas Jefferson weeping, and as the pumpkin degrades over time, it'll turn into like a Donald Trump and just laughing at you.
Cool.
I'm working on that concept.
Get back to me.
I don't know if I have the skills right now, but I know that within a couple months, we're going to be really great at the Donald Trump. Wow, that was a tangent. I don't know where I ended or where I left off. Let's get to some voters. 126 million of them were exposed to Facebook ads, and people say, well, how powerful are these ads, right? How powerful is a Facebook ad? I will say this. This one group in a research company spent $200 in one Facebook group that they created on ads. And it was a anti-Muslim ad. And after they did this, it resulted in white supremacists and pro-Muslim activists coming together outside of this mosque into a real confrontation. The objective of disinformation, the objective of throwing images and anger is not to sway to get one candidate or another. It's to make both sides hate one another, right? If I spend money and they did this, one of the fake Black Lives Matter sites that they popped up had this kill them all, talking about police, right? That idea is not in the public mind until someone puts it there. And then once it's put there, and it's repeated, and it's shared, and suddenly you have this escalation of rhetoric that is leading to violence. Who benefits from that? In this situation, it was the people who were buying those ads. They want Americans to hate Americans. Now, there is an easy solution to that. One, when you see something that violates what you know to be right, you delete it. Don't share it. Don't say, ha ha ha, this is funny, or, oh yeah, I guess so. Say, no, this is wrong. We disagree with this. You don't need to share it. You don't need to quote on it. You don't need to do all the things. Click, unfollow, stop showing me these things. Very quickly, you can do that for about 2 or 3 days. Very quickly, your entire Facebook feed, your Twitter feed, all of the things will be a lot less spammy and a lot less aggressive. You can wake up in the middle of the night and check your Facebook and be like, oh, it's puppies. I have puppies. Which is really great. Speaking of Russians, so I live on H Street, which is 12 blocks from the Washington Capitol building. And I'm looking at this building, and I'm walking to work. And outside of my building, I can see a van parked. And the van is stamped on the side of it, RT, which, in case you don't know, RT stands for, anyone? Bueller? It's the Russian media, Russian Times? Russian Today. Russian Times. Is it Russian Times or Russian Today? I thought I knew this, and now I'm double checking myself.
Russian news.
It's Russian news. It's a state-owned propaganda news organization. It would be like the Russian equivalent of the White House press briefings, except I'm sorry, that was slander. I didn't mean that. I did mean that. On the side of this van is the slogan that says, "Stuck in traffic? Lose an election? Blame us." RT.com. You have outside of the Capitol building the Russian government's propaganda arm proudly bragging on the side of a van how they disrupted our political process. And we have people still today who are blind and ignorant and refusing to acknowledge this. It's just outrageous. So, all of these things culminate in one big conversation, one big question, and that is, what are we supposed to do about it? How can we know what is true and what is false? How do we sift through the mess that is being shoved at us? And one, you have to think about your Facebook and your Twitter and your social media as if you are a journalist. You are responsible. You, sir, you, madam, are responsible for what you share. Okay? So if it's fake, that means you are a liar. You are a fake liar. You're a lying, anti-American destroyer person who is poisoning the wellspring of American democracy. So don't do that. Take it upon yourself to say, I'm going to fact check this before I share it. Even if it's true, right? There was some news stories that came out today that I'm assuming are true. Even if it's true, if it is not helpful for your specific objective, don't share it either. Use it as information. A lot of times we just share things that get people riled up and we're like, oh my gosh, did you see this? And so we share it. And then what happens is we open our accounts and we have this entire stream of things where everybody is sharing, oh my God, did you see this? And so we have thing after thing after thing after thing, and it overwhelms our ability to process, right? We talked about that before, the addiction to outrage. So stop it. Pick the one thing, talk about it, focus on it, share it. Don't share everything that you have. It's really just, it's not that it's annoying, it's that it's damaging, it's hurtful. So, rule number one, you are responsible for what you share. Look at it, make sure it's truthful, valid, and it's helpful. Two, if it's something that's going to outrage people, make sure that this is the appropriate time and place to outrage. Make sure that the thing that you are doing is not counterproductive. Again, I'm reading issues in the newspaper today, and the president calls for executions of this terrorist up in New York. I think we can safely call him a terrorist after he's doing terrorist acts. The thing is, though, you don't execute someone before a trial, right? The judicial system is designed so that people can have fair trials, so that if, God forbid, we execute people, it is with a legal precedent behind it. We don't just go off lynching people, right? Not anymore. And so when we have the president who's saying, let's skip the whole judicial process, that's too slow, let's just kill him. That is a very, very bad thing for American government, for American democracy, for our rule of law. Now, this is the highest public official in the planet, definitely in our country, who is saying these things. We have no legs to stand on. And so then it's no wonder there was a story that was in Louisiana. It came out, I first read about it in a great little newspaper called Above the Law. A man in New Orleans was charged with some sexual impropriety, and he volunteered to speak to the police because he felt that that was a right thing to do. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not going to say it. Lawyer. He spoke to the police, and they kept attacking him and attacking him and attacking him. And so finally, he says, listen, I think there's a problem here. I would like a lawyer. Except that's not exactly what he said. What he actually said, which is a little bit longer, and it's bizarre that this really happened, and I quote, if y'all this is how I feel. If y'all think I did it, I know that I didn't do it. So why don't you just give me a lawyer, dog, because this is not what's up. The court ruled that the phrase lawyer dog was too ambiguous. No one has ever heard of a lawyer dog. He's obviously not asking for a real lawyer. That's not what the law would provide. The Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court of Louisiana, ruled 8-1 that this was not a real request for a lawyer. Right? So we have on the very top our president who's calling for executions of people who haven't even been to trial. And at the very bottom, people who are saying, hi, I would like a lawyer. You guys, I'm being cooperative and you guys are accusing me of these things. I'd like to speak a lawyer because this is not correct. They don't follow through on that. That is an offense to our justice. That's the whole definition of justice. We have a system, we have rules, we follow those rules. Our punishments are fair. We say our punishments are fair because this is the rule of law and it's how it works. When we have things that fall away from that, when we have issues that are not fair, it's because there has been an abuse somewhere. Whether the laws weren't followed, somebody planted evidence, somebody was lying to a judge, some judge was being paid, right? There's an abuse somewhere in the system because properly structured, the system should work. And when it doesn't, that's an indication of a problem. We have a problem with our government, with our justice system, with our country. So be helpful, share good things, be responsible. Don't get angry. 3-6 Nation. We'll be back. Just a second.
I've traveled the world to learn I must return from Russia with love. I've seen places, faces, and smiled for a moment, but oh, you haunted me so. Still my tongue-tied young pride would not let my love for you show. In case you'd say no. To Russia I flew, but there and then I suddenly knew you'd care again. My running around is through. I fly to you from Russia with love.
It's Mueller time. We are back. I want to do a little community spotlight. I know Monica normally has the guests that she knows and loves, and she has been in this town longer than I have, which is the only explanation for why she knows so many people, and not her fantastic personality, and she's literally everywhere all of the time. It's just the amount of time that she's been here. But I have been in DC a couple years now, and I've had my chance to explore some of my favorite places. And I want to share with one of them to you. It's called I'm Thai on H. I'm on H is, in my opinion, the best Thai food in DC. I was blown away. I went there the first time, walking down the street. 8th Street is a beautiful corridor. They're really doing a lot of design. It's in that weird intergentrifying moment where it's half developed and half old charm, the old neighborhood charm, shall we say? Authentic DC, right? You have a Whole Foods on one end and Carry Out on the other. It's
Tony's.
Just how it is. It's just how we do. Tony's. Oh, man. Sometimes breakfast at Tony's, some chicken and waffles, just do it. Just do it. But we were out, and I'm walking down 8th Street. I see I'm on H. I walk inside, and it's a small business. They gave me the best sushi, first of all. I know that's Japanese. They gave me the best sushi I've had in DC. And I love sushi. I have it everywhere. It was plated beautifully. There's like exploding flowers and a shrimp that just like reaches its head out. And I'd never been treated like that. And so the chef comes down and we start chatting, and he tells me, about the things that he's going through and about, what he's making, because I'm that guy. I like to talk, if you didn't notice. And every time I go there, I say, hey, what's good? And he says, today we have fresh octopus. And like when he says fresh octopus, this is something that they found this morning in the ocean, speared it, brings it in, and he's just like laying it out for us. And so I have never had a bad meal there. I've never had a bad to-go meal there. And every time I am there, they love making their food. They love what they do. They're super creative. I'm on H. Go there, enjoy it. Fun times. I really believe that we need to find and explore all of the hidden gems throughout DC, because there's a lot of them. Last year, DC beat New York as the best food city?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Hey, girl, hey. It was so much fun. And I'm from New York originally. People ask me, like, how is this even possible? I have some dietary concerns. I never have to worry. In DC, I go any place, I walk into a restaurant, and they're like, how would you like that? Are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? Are you gluten-free? Are you paleo? What do you need? And I go, all of the above? I'm not. All of the above? And they're like, sure, we'll do it. Right? You can go to any pub, and they are working and trying to impress you with their burgers. There's not a lot of them, and so they're all trying to be the best. New York has a lot of great food, a lot of really great food, but there's also a lot of really bad food. In DC, it's a lot harder to find really, really bad food. And so I'm pleased as punch to be here, glad to be part of the city, glad to be exploring all the little aspects of local culture. If you have a recommendation for me, a place that I should go and try, someplace in DC that nobody knows about but everybody should know about, email me at Ivan Edward, IvanEdward, ivanedward.dc@gmail.com. I'm going to be going around reviewing a lot of our local spots, eating as much as I can, really finding out more and more and more. We have just a few minutes. Talk to me.
I'd like to recommend a restaurant.
You have a recommendation?
It's slash pub, so it's actually directly across the street from Thai, and it is called The Star and Shamrock.
The Star and Shamrock.
And it is an Irish pub / Jewish deli restaurant, and I go there like every other week.
Really? What's the one thing that you should get?
Oh man, their pastrami sandwich with a Guinness.
With Guinness.
It's just like that's the thing, and they also have like infused like Jameson and stuff.
Oh
like,
wow, they go
not cannabis infused.
No,
but like
pineapples,
yeah,
and, peppers or whatever they're putting
all
in the
stuff.
Yeah.
It's,
Shake and Shamrock?
Star and
Star
Shamrock.
Because Jewish.
Yes.
Got it. I got it. I was at a funeral recently. I don't attend a lot of funerals, but it was a funeral of a friend of mine. Her mother passed. And it was the first time that I had been to a funeral in a synagogue, in a temple. And so I sat down and I sat in the back and just absorbing what was all, it's really a private right? It's a private, this is how we appreciate our culture. There was no show that wasn't for you. This wasn't like sometimes you'll go into a church or you'll go into a service and they want to like show it up. Like this was like a time of like quiet and somber and mourning and respect and love. And I was just overwhelmed by the people and by the shared amount of history that they were evil, like in that moment, they all had these rituals that they went through and the way that they shared and the way that they grieved together. And I have never been a part of that community. So for me to be able to walk in there and really experience that for the first time, I was very pleased. I was very grateful for the invitation. And I hope that my being there was helpful. But I really was pleased that I could like offer and be a part of this family in a way that I didn't think that I could have. So anyway, not related at all to the Shaken Shamrock, but it star in Shamrock.
Yes.
But all
Judaism.
of my Judaism.
Yes.
L'chaim, as they say. All right, weird news, fun things. Did you know the CIA just released a whole lot of material about the Osama bin Laden raid?
Tell me more.
Osama bin Laden, are we all familiar with this guy? Yeah, I didn't know where we were. Osama bin Laden was killed, SEAL Team 6. What? They go in and they go into... First of all, that entire story is just nuts. I'm not going to go off on it. But when you have politicians say, we got him, and they did. They flew the ship of state, so it bumped up against another country, did a barrel roll, and didn't cause a nuclear war. It's like crazy amounts of kind of legal things that they did on a whim, and they got this dude. Craziness. So they just released all of the documents related to it. And guess what was among the videos released in Osama bin Laden's private stash?
Tell us.
Charlie bit my finger. Charlie bit me. Apparently this is like his thing. Osama bin Laden is just getting off, enjoying the innocent silliness of children biting each other's fingers on the YouTube.
I can't imagine him laughing to that.
I can't even. Maybe he was studying. Bite him again, Charlie. Bite him. I think it's surprising. There was a lot of other things that were released in the video stream. Apparently, he had a rather extensive pornography collection.
I would imagine.
Well, if you're locked in a cave for years, right? You need some entertainment. Is all I'm saying. You have to have some videos. So you download what you can. You download an old YouTube. You don't have to worry about I'm being traced. It's Charlie. It's fine, right? And then you get sloppy bedtime seconds for 6 part 12. You just do what you do. So, it's fun. It's fun time. Anyway, the internet, the interwebs, as we talk about them, are universal. Everybody's happy. One more fun story, and then I'm gonna step back, go to a commercial, then we're gonna round up this hour. I absolutely love this. A mom was accused of driving her minivan with her son and a plastic pool tied to the roof. Now, there have been a lot of changes that have happened over the years, having to do with seatbelt laws, having to do with child protection, having to do with endangerment. Now I used to sell cars at one point in my life, and those front row seats that can spin around and the child safety things. In nowhere in our world does tying your child to the roof come into an adequate mode of transportation. Her answer, when she was arrested and charged, her answer was, well, my dad used to let me do things when I was a kid. So, can you be mad at her? Can you be mad? 'Cause she don't know, right? That's how she grew up. Driving 60 miles an hour down the freeway with your child tied to the roof. That's how we do it. Apparently. And then you have to ask yourself also, what's changed in the past 40 years? Oh, boy, oh boy. All right, we're going to go to commercial. We've got some closeouts, comments. I want to talk about some things that are on my mind. 3-6 Nation Radio. We will be back. 2 minutes. Love, peace, punch. Awesome.
If you can play, you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
We are all champions. We are all
Red Hawks.
Red Hawk
For life.
Our staff, coaches, and student athletes welcome students of all races, religions, genders, sexual orientation, and national origin. We advocate and support the LGBTQ community.
We play.
together.
We win together.
If you can play,
You can play.
At Montclair State University, if you can play, you can play.
if you can play, you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
Yeah, they used to warn us about that. And we used to well, I do it like a Spider-Man.
Come on, hustle, 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 hustle. Get your head in the game. Come on.
Are you setting the right example for your kids?
Are you even trying? The ball's down there. What are you doing? You need to get some confidence.
Come on, hustle up, get up there.
Reviewing last year, ad revenue has declined 15%.
Come on, get your head on straight.
Before your child's next game, ask yourself, how would you like it if they copied your behavior?
There are many ways which we can improve.
That's for sure. You need to get some confidence.
Positive Coaching Alliance has valuable tips and tools to help our kids perform their best while keeping sports enjoyable for everyone. Their development zone is a great resource for parents like us. Positive Coaching Alliance, creating better athletes, better people. Learn more at positivecoach.org/Fox Sports.
3-6 Nation Radio, we are back. Excited to be here. I have talked about this a lot, but I'm teaching a class called Engaging with the Religious Right. And the class has kind of evolved from just talking about the religious right to how to speak to people who have ideologies different than your own and how to be successful in that engagement. And when I define success as their guards don't go up, they don't try to fight you, and you are able to have a peaceful and civil conversation, and hopefully and eventually an outcome is got, right? I want them to join my team, I want to marry their daughter, I want, whatever the thing that you want, we want to teach you, and I want to teach you how to achieve that end. So I've been working with this group in Norman, Oklahoma. Shout out to Norman. And we've been talking about a lot of different issues. But last night, we discussed racism, alt-right, meme magic, which, are you familiar with meme magic? There is a religion that is brewing. This is off topic. There is a new religion among the extreme alt-right that says, if you meme it, it will happen. I claim it. I claim it to be true because I put a Pepe frog on it. But seriously. And so, seriously. But they do it. And it's becoming an actual religion that is weltering up. It's crazy times we're living in. Anyway, I had a professor of rhetoric come and co-lead our conversation with us. It was a lovely meeting. And racism, rah, 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 and what's going on in the world. And then I said, all right, let's bring it local. And in Norman, Oklahoma, there is a street, DeBar, named after the first chaplain to the KKK in this town. And he happened to be the town's surveyor, right? So they named a street after him. He also was a Klan member. In 1989, his name was on the high school. They removed it from the high school because nobody wants a high school named after a Klans member, but a street is fine up until recently. And everybody had some kind of issues. But here's the thing. You would imagine that there would be some kind of unity, oh, this is bad. We don't want this. That's not the case, though. The case is when things are big and universal, we're all together, rah, rah, right and wrong. But when I'm talking about you're going to have to change your address, then it affects me personally. And it's more complicated than that. And so we got down and really talked about some local issues, local problems that they were facing within their own group, within their own team. And I wrote this as a response to them. I wanted to read this to you guys. It's a little bit long, but I love you and I think it's important. There were a lot of different perspectives, including there was an older white friend of a friend who lives on the street who was convinced of the slippery slope. There was the young professional who believed legislative solution is viable and effective for bringing change so that we can focus our iconography on the ideas of the futures rather than the perceptions of the past. There was a 60-year-old black man who told me very eloquently, he is done listening to the opposition. Thank you very much. And so we had all of these different points of view. And speaking with the leaders, this had been thorny for their members for a long time. At the end of our long and heated conversation, I said, this is what the battle is. Anger, hatred, fear, annoyance, generational divides, differences in ideology, differences in perception, differences in background. This one street sign, which is not a big deal by itself, encompasses all of these other issues. And we understand that. And we understand how aggressive and how personal this fight will be. Then I asked, what are the victory conditions? What does it mean in this instance to win? The majority felt that the win would come when the town council was able to create a democratic tool for determining which iconography no longer looked upon as being representative of the values of the culture. We will build a tool. We will say every 6 months, we're going to review. Things have changed. Apparently, Bill Cosby is no longer acceptable inside of Ben's Chili Bowl, and we remove him. This was a good legislative solution. I called it hollow and meaningless. Because if those are the victory conditions, you are dooming us to perpetual warfare. The problem with a purely legislative solution is that it doesn't do the work of democracy. Democracy works by persuasion. It's not about shoehorning what you want and forcing a thing and you slipped it under the radar. It's about working with truth to achieve a consensus, to work together to get rid of false information through dialogue because you are open and you are trusting that together you can build the right kind of culture. I said, if you worry about the legislation now, worry about the people later, this is what is going to happen. One, it is never going to be safe. We look at the numerous explicit attacks on the ACA, the Obamacare. There is no confidence in the healthcare system because it is going to always be under attack. The same issue will haunt any Republican tax plan. It will always be under attack because we will not accept losing. And if we do lose, we come back and we fight harder. A purely legislative victory in the Bar Street situation specifically does little to address the issue of racism because issues of racism and beliefs are held by individuals. They are not policies. The losers will feel as if they personally have been wronged and will go to work to get out the vote the next time around because their beliefs haven't changed. And now they simply feel as if they are in a threatened minority. And perhaps they're right. If a democracy worked as it should be, this would be changing them. Instead, our victory needs to be focused on engaging them, shifting their minds. And how do we know if we can do that? It's if we as a group, as friends right here together, can come to a consensus among ourselves. We trust each other, we love each other, we are going to work together, we will disagree, we will fight, we will spar as if we were in a gym, as if we were in a dojo, but at the end of the day, we will come to one place and we will look at each other and we will say, all right, let's go out into the world and let's change their minds like we change our own minds. 3-6 Nation Radio, I love you guys. We can do this together. We can make the world we want. Ivan Woner in for Monica Livingston. I will see you next Thursday. Peace, love. It's Thursday. We are going to have Anthony's in the building. Pleasure. I'm out. Love. Gone. Peace. Bye. Done.